2 teams, 2 separate locations, 1 competition. The power of virtual competition is here. This is a TGN Tokyo matchup, bringing you a sneak peek at the Olympic Games before the Games. Sponsored by Virtuous, a virtual meet platform designed to create live gymnastics competitions anywhere in the world, presenting the very first TGN Tokyo matchup. In the lineup today, we have the entire Great Britain Olympic team consisting of Joe Fraser, Max Whitlock, Giarnni Regini-Moran, and James Hall, as well as an appearance from Courtney Tulloch on the rings. The spotlight for this Great Britain team, of course, is world P-bar champion Joe Fraser. Joe was the first British gymnast to ever win a gold medal on P-bars at the 2019 World Championships in Stuttgart. The 2019 Paralympics world champion has had a great start to 2021. Joe took home a bronze medal on pommel horse at this year's European Championships, scoring a 14.06, and has secured a spot on the Great Britain Olympic team. Only improving since the start of 2021, Joe comes in today competing all 6 events in amazing form as he prepares for Tokyo. In the lineup today for Spain, we have locked Olympian Nestor Abad and Olympic hopefuls Thierno, Diallo, Nicolau Mir, and Adria Vera. Spain's full Olympic team will be chosen June 25th. Spain has not attended many events this year, as the team announced back in March that the team would not be attending European Championships. Without missing a beat, the team scheduled a team training camp in Palma de Mallorca to focus on preparation for the Olympics. In a post-camp interview, Nicolau Mir released the statement, quote, "We have increased our difficulty, and I believe that we can make the team final." 1 month later, the team traveled to another training camp, this time in St. Cugat, to further prepare the national team for the Olympics. Shortly after, 3 members of the national team traveled to the Dobro World Cup on June 12th. The Spanish team will also be attending Doha World Cup in Qatar, June 23rd. This brings us to today for this Spanish team. Spain has had limited competition this year, yet Spanish superstar Nestor Abad looks better than ever. Nestor Abad, a 2016 Olympian, is looking to return to the Olympics for the 2nd time. The last time we had seen Nestor hit the floor was at the end of 2020 for the Spanish National Championships. Nestor took home the Spanish Championships all-around title, scoring an 82.45. Per usual, today Nestor will be competing in all 6 events, making today an opportunity to further prepare himself for Tokyo. The action is underway in the city of Lilleshall at the National Sports Training Center. This is where our Great Britain Olympic team begins its journey in a 5-week preparation for the Olympic Games, while members from the Spanish national team will compete in their home gym. This meet was scored on a 4-execution judge panel with 2 judges from GB and 2 judges from Spain. To see the full routines as well as the D&E scores, please go to the Virtuous website linked in the description. Hello and welcome to the postgame for Spain versus Great Britain. My name is Isaac Hammond and I'm joined by Cannon Johnson. Rising Great Britain star Joe Fraser wins 5 out of 6 event titles in a dominant fashion in the first TGN Tokyo matchup, Great Britain versus Spain. GB wins the event 248.92 to 242.42. We begin our Tokyo matchup on the floor exercise with solid routines from both Great Britain and from Spain. Spain suffered an early fall, which would ultimately leave GB with an early lead of 1 point over Spain. Starting the competition quite well was Commonwealth champion James Hall, putting up the highest score on the floor, scoring a 14.125 with a start value of 15.9.
James has a special ability to manage clean landings throughout his routines. Take a look at this front handspring 2.5. This skill is so difficult to have clean landings, as many gymnasts struggle twisting fashion having good rotation. You can see the control from James, not only on his 2.5, but also on this back triple full dismount. Ending rotation 1, Team GB leads Spain 41.75 to 40.675.
Heading over to the pommel horse. In this second rotation, both teams showed signs of struggle throughout their routines. Starting with Spain, this team did show a strong start with a solid routine from Adria Vera with a score of 13.0. However, the other 2 routines were falls. For Great Britain, we saw 1 hit and 2 falls as well. We see a solid start from Joe Fraser, taking the pommel horse title with a 14.35. Taking the silver on horse today, we have 2016 Olympic pommel horse champion Max Whitlock. Max suffers a fall, attempting the highest start of the competition with a 16.6, his score being a 13.6.
Let's take a look at Joe Fraser. Joe is a pommel horse worker who could swing fast and with insane amplitude. You can see the amplitude on his woo across the pommel horse. and his Russian circle sequence. Circles that are similar to Joe's create a great base for learning high-level pommel horse skills. He finishes his routine off strong with a near-perfect dismount. Finishing the pommel horse rotation, Team GB scores a 40.6 and Spain scores a 37.2, bringing our running totals to an 82.35 for Team GB and a 77.875 for Team Spain.
Moving to the rings, we had a great rotation for both teams. Spain saw highs in their dismount work, sticking 2 out of the 3 dismounts. Once again, we saw Joe Fraser claim the top score of the event with an elegant display of strength and swinging elements.
Courtney Tulloch's ring shows us how legendary the ringmen of GB are. He performs a Victorian first skill, one of the hardest skills ringmen compete. Courtney, being one of the best in the world at that position, has a variation of that skill named after him, which is an Azarian roll to a Victorian valued at an F. His strength is solid and a prime example of good rings. On the Spanish side, we have some great dismounts, including this double-double laid out by Thierno, and Adria Vera gets a stuck 1.5 dismount with a blind landing. Finishing the rings rotation, Team GB scores a 40.625 and Spain a 39.95, bringing our running totals to a 122.975 for Team GB to 117.825 for Team Spain.
Spain began the latter half of the competition down 4 points. Looking to close the gap, Spain started strong with 2 beautiful vaults from Nicolau Mir and Nestor Abad. Unfortunately, Spain suffered a fall on their last vault, putting them further behind Great Britain. On the other side, Great Britain landed 2 beautiful triple full vaults and a 2.5, continuing to further the Great Britain lead.
Let's take a look at Nicolau's vault. As you can see, he takes a step on the landing. This is due to the under rotation of the skill. He needs to land with his shoulders on top of his feet. In order to do that, he needs to create more rotation off the board by driving his heels faster over his head onto the table. Nicolau still manages a high score due to being so precise in the air and minimizing deduction on his landing. Finishing up the vault rotation, GB scores a 43.7 and Spain a 41.875, bringing our running totals to a 166.675 for GB and a 159.7 for Team Spain.
Spain will take their first win over Great Britain on parallel bars. Thierno, Nicolau, and Nestor all put down amazing routines, averaging a 14.2. Great Britain saw a 14.4 from James Hall, a 15.125 from World P-Bar champion Joe Fraser. Joe's P-Bars has stepped up difficulty and execution since the last World Championships. He will be a treat to see in the Olympic P-Bar final.
With clean lines and elegant piecework, Joe showed us why he is the 2019 World Champion. The amount of grip strength needed to perform these skills is amazing. Joe Fraser is the real deal. He finishes with the hardest dismount of the event with a double front half, almost with a stuck landing. And here, take a look at Nicolau and his solid piecework and his support element. He performed a straddle flip to the end of the bars with amazing amplitude and no deduction. He keeps his legs straight and his toes pointed in all his skills. Finishing the parallel bars rotation, Team GB scores a 42.325 and Spain a 42.7, bringing our running totals to a 209 for Team GB and a 202 for Team Spain.
Moving into the final rotation, we have the high bar. The key routines for Spain in this rotation came from Nicolau Mir, scoring a 13.55, and Adria Vera at a 13.275, placing 3rd and 4th, respectively. High-flying releases from Nicolau, utilizing Tkachev elements, and teammate Adria Vera performing a spectacular laid-out Kovacs. Joe and James will go on to place number 1 and number 2 to close out the competition for Team GB.
Nestor had some of the best Tkachevs done in the meet. Look how stretched he is in the air. He could be slightly straighter to avoid deductions though. Nestor had some great lines, finishing all his pirouetting elements extremely close to handstand. The reason he didn't take the highbrow crown is due to this poor landing on his dismount. He took multiple steps, causing him to place 5th on the event. Finishing the highbrow rotation, GB scores a 39.925 to Spain's 40.025. Bringing our running totals to 248.925 for Team GB to 242.425 for Team Spain. GB takes this duel against Spain in a dominant fashion, with Joe Fraser proving to be the X factor. It's going to be interesting to see where his career can go and what Team GB can accomplish at the Olympic Games.